Today I'm sharing a day in the life homeschooling two kids family style. First off, we start our day with math lessons, separate ones for each kiddo. Then we join around the table and we start with our Greek word of the week. Today we're finishing up our study, and so the kids are going to be taking the worksheets they've been adding to all week and putting them in their binder so that we can look over them and study them in future weeks. I start the day looking over our teacher planner and I go through and make sure that I have everything I need for the day, and we are ready to get started. Next up, we move into our Bible time, and so I read about Jacob today, and we are progressing through the Old Testament, and we are also going over our Ten Commandments. Right now, we're on the third commandment, and so the kids usually listen quietly while I read. As you can see, one of the kids is eating a snack. This is around snack time since we had a late start today. I had a meeting in the morning, and so we're probably getting started about 11 o'clock today, which is a little bit later than I like, but it's okay. As long as we have snacks handy, we are good to go. I really like this book that we're reading from because it has lots of pictures and visuals and lots of really cool facts on the side that teach the kids different things about the Bible story. So they are really enjoying it as well. Next up is handwriting. They both work on their separate grade level handwriting. Ezra is doing cursive and Eliana is doing print. And then I went ahead and started Ezra's language lesson. And today his lesson is a picture study on the picture A Found Toy by Frank Paton. And that's a lot of fun for both of them. So they both joined in on that one. During picture study, I show them a famous work of art and they look over it. I ask them some questions. They do lots of observation, and it's just really good to get them to practice studying things and paying close attention to details. Now I'm going to gather some things for our history hands-on learning project while the kids work on their handwriting pages. As you can see, if I'm not in the room, sometimes they don't quite get their work done, but they stayed pretty on task. I was pretty proud of them. As you can see, the kids do remember that the camera's there throughout the day, and they do tend to look over and make silly faces. I do make sure to get their permission before I post anything, even if it's something sped up like this, because I think that's respectful to the kiddos. Now I'm actually reading Eliana her language lesson while I'm cleaning up the table to get ready for our craft. She's learning about statement sentences today and that they end in a period, and just reminding her as well that sentences begin with a capital letter. All things she can do while she is finishing her handwriting page. Since Ezra's done already with his handwriting, he's going to go ahead and color our timeline character, Jacob, and we're going to get the timeline out and go ahead and put him on there in the right spot. Our timeline's really pretty massive, even though we're only using a little chunk of it this year because we're learning about ancient history. We'll be adding to it in the years to come. And we have a timeline that dates all the way back to the creation of the world and comes all the way to present day time. So it is pretty big. And right now we're only in the life of Jacob and the pyramids and Egyptians and things like that. The previous lesson, the kids had carved out onto clay a picture that they had seen before, and today they're going to paint it. So I'm just trying to find their pictures so they can be looking at them while they paint today. All right, so there's their completed timeline piece, and that is for the life of Jacob. And they're going to go ahead and put it on their timeline to remember how his life correlates with the rest of history. While my younger one's finishing up her handwriting, I'm getting everything ready to paint their plaster of Paris mole that they made a couple days ago. You can see they picked a picture in a book out and then they carved it the best they could into the plaster of Paris. And so we are going to create something that looks like a tomb painting that you might would have found in one of the Egyptian pyramids. And so it should turn out really good. I'm really excited and very proud of the great job that they did. So they are both done and they are ready to start painting. We are using an acrylic type paint today. And while they paint, I'm going to be reading their history lesson. I'm actually reading just a couple pages, and I'll show you at the end of this little clip what we're reading about. It has lots of pictures. I really love these Osborne books that come with our curriculum. They're so lively and engaging, and the kids really, really do enjoy them. Other days we use another history book, which is much more detailed and doesn't have very many pictures in it, but it's more informative, but it's also really easy to read and in a story format that the kids also enjoy. I like that our curriculum changes things up, and so there's 3 different books that we use. The one you saw earlier, which was the Ancient Egypt, it was hands-on projects. We use that one. Then we use the one I'm reading right now, which is the Osborne Encyclopedia of World History from ancient to modern times. And then we have our other book, our big history book, which is called Streams of Civilization, Book 1. So some days we'll be using that, but this particular day we were just using this book and the Ancient Egypt book. We also do occasionally pull from the Learn About Pyramids book. It's a small book. You can see it sitting there beside me on my left. And it's just a do-it-yourself project book for learning about pyramids. We did a few little fun, very visual things for them to learn how pyramids were built and how important they are structurally and how they're still used today. And we enjoy that one as well. That's actually the book that I just pulled out and I'm looking at now to make sure I have all the supplies we need to do another optional project that we're going to go ahead and do because I have all this stuff and I think it'll be a lot of fun and the table's already a mess. We already have the tablecloth, so why not? Some of you may wonder where I am pulling these books from behind me, and it is a book holder that my husband made me to match our dining room table. It actually goes along the middle of the table, but I like to keep it kind of like a bookshelf behind me, and it has 3 different areas for books, and then it has pencil holders in there. But it's really been a lifesaver for all the books that it holds and how easy it is to just grab them and not have to constantly get up a million times.
Ocean blue, I came home for you. Cut my hair in the
Eliana is finishing up. She tends to get a little discouraged easily, so I'm trying to encourage her to finish up while I go grab the supplies for our next project. Now the kids are listening to their Bible verse songs while we look at their pretty pictures. Here's the next thing they're working on. They are making seals and they're carving potatoes to press them down into wax to seal envelopes. So they're still listening to their Bible verse songs while they carve those and just taking their time. Again, this was an optional project. We went ahead and did it. I think maybe the tomb paintings also might have been optional. I can't remember, but my kids love hands-on things, and we try to do something like this at least once a week.
All right, push down as hard as you can. Push, 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 push. Push, 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 push. You're making your seal. Push, 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 push. Maybe stand up and give it some on your knees.
That's it.
All right. Let's check it out.
ocean.
Hey! You made a wax seal for your envelope. See?
kids are begging me to read our A Cry from Egypt literature book today because we are all really enjoying it and super into the story. But we need to do science. So our lesson today is about reflection. And so we are going to read a little bit and then we're going to do a quick experiment. We've been learning a lot about light this year, and so this is just another unit in that. And the kids really love science. I really enjoyed this book. It's really easy to teach. They always have some kind of hands on experiment or a visual for the kids, so they really like that. I think our favorite one this year was going outside and seeing how light with a mirror can cause a fire. And that was really exciting with a piece of newspaper. And it did literally light up right there in the front yard. So this little quick visual is just showing reflection. So the kids are going to get down at the right angle and see that the fork reflects and it looks like it's floating on the surface. And so now I'll ask some questions, read some more, and they will, they're finishing, I think they're making another potato stamp thing while they're listening to me. I think Ezra's painting. I really don't mind. I let them keep their hands busy while I'm reading. I don't mind while I'm teaching as long as they're listening and they can answer questions. They're engaged. I don't mind at all. I just pulled out our answer key. It has questions for the kids at the end of the unit, and it gives me the answers in there as well. It also gives them a prompt for their science journal, and I'll show you those in a minute. Here are their science journal pages from the experiment and the lesson today, and it's just something visual they can put in there to remind themselves what they learned. And Ezra will have to narrate back to me everything, and Ellie just has to draw the picture. Well, we are done with all the hands-on type things that they need. They go ahead and hang up anything that they did, that they worked on. This is stuff they've been working on the last couple weeks. You can see their completed tomb paintings are there. I think they did a great job. It is finally time for A Cry from Egypt, which is their read aloud. Super exciting. The last thing that the kids have to do, and they do this throughout the day, is they have to spend 10 minutes looking through the book basket books. So these are all books about ancient Egypt, things that we're learning, the Bible stories we're learning, and they just do some independent learning on their own, looking through the basket. I also forgot because they usually do it in the morning or at lunchtime, but they have to read for 20 minutes independently on their own. So this is Ezra's book and Eliana's book for that independent reading time. That's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this and you will like and subscribe and join me here another time. Bye-bye.